Hi, my name is William Allen. This is my Module 1 for EDL 854, Building Finance. And to tell you a little bit about me, I grew up in a small town in northwest Kansas called Brewster. I graduated with a class of 8 and then went on to college at Benedictine to earn my degree in elementary education. And after I graduated, I moved back to Colby, Kansas, which is just 20 minutes away from my hometown. My teaching career so far has all been at a small Catholic school, Sacred Heart, in Colby. K through 5, we have about 80 students. I started out teaching second grade, but then moved on to fifth grade just last year. A little bit about my personal life. I've been married for a little over a year and a half now, and my wife Katie and I are expecting our first here in just less than 2 months, which we're really excited about. Some other hobbies that I have: I play a lot of sports, I enjoy reading, I'm a big movie buff, and I enjoy spending time with my family. So, to tell you some information that I gleaned from the articles that we read about principals and their role with budgeting and funds allocation. So, there has been a shift to decentralize some funds and allow principals to take on more autonomy and be able to make more decisions for their school based on a more personal level, because principals do tend to know the problems that their school is having or some issues that could be resolved with some funding targeted specifically for their school's needs. Although there was an argument that some centrality makes sense, they mentioned things like bus routes that don't really make sense for individual schools to make those decisions, but rather to keep it at a district level. There also was a big theme that principals, although they are tasked with some big jobs in surrounding finance and budgets, they do, when surveyed, report that they had a lack of training, basically, and the lack of basic bookkeeping skills and financial literacy that might help them to navigate those waters. And it also talks about the need to report spending to others and to kind of understand basic forms, certain documents that you will use on a day-to-day, or not day-to-day basis, but on a regular basis. And another common theme was that although the principals and building leaders are the ones that are close to the issues, sometimes those who are far removed from these schools are the ones making decisions, such as the legislators and lawmakers, policymakers, are the ones that are making decisions on how funding should be spent, even though they're not very close to the actual situation. And a lot of times this causes budgets to be very restricted or tied down. They mentioned the specific instance where there was a bunch of money for professional development, but there wasn't really the research saying that that big push in that state was supporting their students' needs. And a lot of it was also boiled down to formula-based spending, so very much just based off of this number of students gets this number of resources kind of thing, rather than allowing for more freedom and flexibility on where they really do need funding and what would be most beneficial to their school. Personally, I haven't seen a lot of the side from my own experience at a Catholic school. We are private, so we aren't publicly funded. We're funded almost entirely through our church support and donors. So it's pretty different on that side. As far as our principal situation, I'm not sure that they have a huge say in what goes where, what money goes where. I know that they have some say, but I truly don't know the behind the scenes part of it. I know a lot of it is taken care of by our finance council that we do have through the church, and I do know that the principal and the vice principal really advocate for certain things that we're in need of, but I'm not sure that they have the final say on where we actually spend our money at. So, looking into the future, some concerns that I might have being in charge or helping to be in charge of some of the budget items that a school takes care of. So I do have pretty limited accounting bookkeeping experience. I took classes in high school, but that's been a while for accounting and business. I do like numbers and working with numbers, so I am excited to look more into it and become more financially literate. It also seems kind of like a burdensome task. There seems to be some pressure there, even though I most likely won't be the sole decision maker. I will definitely be an advocate for these situations. And because my experience has been private school setting so far, and I really haven't seen a lot of the public school side, so a lot of the policy and restrictions, I'm a little hesitant about that just because I am very unfamiliar with what happens on the other side, or at a different perspective, I would say. And yeah, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Looking forward to learning.